Yo, what's up everyone? In this video we're gonna create a very simple but very good looking night vision camera effect. So I've created this brand new project here, and we're gonna be using post-processing. So if you've created your project using HDRP or URP templates, it's gonna be installed already. As you can see, we got some post-processing going on already. But if not, make sure you install it. Alright, so I'm gonna use this default scene here. Uh, so I'm gonna make it dark so we can use some night vision. I'll turn off the directional light, and I'm gonna also make the sky dark. So I'll decrease the exposure to 0, and I'm gonna make the atmosphere thick. So right now, as you can see, it's pretty dark, and the reason why it looks gray when we go far is because we have fogs enabled. So if you want to get rid of that, you can go into the lighting window. You can go from window, rendering, and lighting, and go to the environment tab, and here you can increase or decrease the density of your fog, or change the color, or whatever, or you can just disable it altogether, which, as you can see, if I disable it, we won't have fogs anymore. As you can see, we don't have fogs anymore. So I think I'll leave it on here. So let's turn it back on. Where was it? But I'm going to change it to linear. Alright, it's compiled, and I think it looks better. Okay, anyway, so now we already have some post-processing going on here, and I'm going to duplicate this one for our night vision. So I'm going to duplicate this night vision, this post-processing volume, and I'm going to rename it to night vision. And let's put it under our camera, and let's reset its transform. Alright, so it's using the same profile. So let's create a new profile here. I'm going to duplicate this profile, and I'm going to rename it to night vision. Alright, so let's assign it to this, and let's get rid of tone mapping, because we already have it on this other volume. I'm gonna leave let's also actually, let's keep bloom. I'm gonna increase this vignette a little bit to make it feel like we have put on some goggles or something. Alright, so before we add the color tint, let's add a light, because that's essentially how real night visions work. They do have some lamps that you can only see the light through the camera. So I'm gonna add a spotlight. You can also use a point light, or even a directional light if you're making a third person game, but here it's more like a first person, so I'm gonna add a spotlight, and let's make this a little bit wider so we can see things better. also let's increase this inner angle a little bit more. Yeah, I think that looks better. And let's increase the intensity to something like 6. I think 6 works fine. And we don't really need shadows. You can go without shadows. I think it looks even better. And we can increase the range to something like 20. And now let's add a color tint. So we're gonna add a color adjustment, and let's enable color filter, and we're gonna make it green. So I think this green looks good. And let's also add a noise. So let's add this film grain and bring the intensity up, all the way up, and let's make it medium so you can see the noise better. Now if you play, you can see it already looks kind of like a night vision. It already looks cool. Let's compare it. So this is with night vision, and this is without night vision. Alright, it looks cool. Let's also add a sound effect to this. So I've imported this sound effect, and we're gonna add it to our night vision game object. So let's drag and drop it here, and it's play on awake. So whenever this game object is turned on, enabled, it's gonna play it. So if we toggle it on and off, it's gonna play it. Pretty cool, right? Usually when night vision turns on, the camera's aperture is still wide open, and we get a high exposure until the camera adjusts itself. So we're gonna create that animation for this. We're gonna fake it with this post exposure value. So we're gonna make it something like 5, or 5 is too much. Let's go 4, and then we want it to slowly adjust and go all the way down. Open the animation tab, and we create a new animation. Let's call it exposure. Yeah. And here, if you enable auto keyframe, and if you try to change this value, you can see that it doesn't give us a keyframe. So you can't really animate these values. However, you can animate the volume's weight, and that's what we're going to do. Create another volume. So let's go here. Let's duplicate this, and we're gonna rename it to like, I don't know, exposure, I guess. And we're gonna add another volume here. So another volume, and this one's going to use exposure. And here, let's remove vignette, and let's also remove film grain, because all we need is this post exposure. So let's make this Alright, let's go to the animation, turn on auto keyframe, and let's make this 4. And here in the first frame it's all the way up, and after like a little bit it's gonna be here somewhere, and then it's gonna go all the way down. So it's gonna, oops, what's going on? So yeah. Alright, so you need to have this volume on top here, right here, because it's animating the first component that it finds. So let's delete these keyframes and let's do it again. So this is our night vision volume, and this is our exposure volume. We want this to be animated, so make sure it's on top of the other one. So turn on auto keyframe, and let's set this to, let's change this and let's make it 0.4, and I think here we can make it 0. Alright, so here's our animation. Okay, it's a little too fast, but we can change it later. So let's open this animator, and let's change the speed to something like 0.2, and let's press play and see what it looks like. Alright, that looked cool. Okay, it's looping, so we don't want it to loop. So let's find this animation clip and turn off loop time, and it's gonna be okay now. Now if you toggle it on and off, you can see every time it plays that animation. One more thing, if you see that the animation plays but you don't see the effects, it's probably because this other volume is being calculated on top. So you need to change the priority to something higher, something like 1. For me it's working, so I didn't need to do that, but I just did it. So let's create a new script here. Create C# script. Let's call it night vision toggle, and let's open it up. So here's our script. So we're gonna need a reference to the game object. So let's do public game object. Let's call it night vision, I guess. Why is it not helping me with the auto complete? I don't know. So here actually we don't need start, so let's get rid of it. And here in the update, let's do we're going to say if input dot get key down key code dot n for night vision. If we get that, then we're going to say night vision dot set active is equal to the opposite of its activeness. So if it's disabled, we're going to enable it. If it's enabled, we're going to disable it. So we're going to put this sign here to make it go opposite. So night vision dot active in hierarchy. I hope I spelled it correctly. Yeah, I guess I did. Hierarchy. Okay. So honestly, I wouldn't create a separate script for this. I would put it in my player script or whatever script I have for getting input, for my player input. But I mean, for the sake of the tutorial, let's just do it. Oh, had two dots here. Okay, that's it. Um, you're gonna want to put this script on something other than this game object itself, because when it's disabled, then this script is not gonna be uh, let's assign this game object here, and now let's play the game. Yeah, that's looking good. uh, yeah, that looks cool.